Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Deving Saraswating Vyasam Nasta Paresho Bhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavad Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 3, The Birth of Lord Krishna, text number 24. Shri Devaki Uvacha Rupang Yatat Prahur Avyaktam Adyang Rupang Yatat Prahur Avyaktam Adyang Brahma Jyotir Nirgunang Nirvikaram Brahma Jyotir Nirgunang Nirvikaram Sata Matrang Nirvisheshang Nirihang Sata Matrang Nirvisheshang Nirihang Satvang Sakshad Vishnur Adhyatma Dipaha Satvang Sakshad Vishnur Adhyatma Dipaha Shri Devaki Uvacha. Shri Devaki said, Rupam, form or substance. Yat tat, because you are the same substance. Prahu, you are sometimes called avyaktam, not perceivable by the material senses. Atashi Krishna Namadi Nabhavegrayam Indriyai. Adyam, you are the original cause. Brahma, you are known as Brahman. Jyoti, light. Nirgunam, without material qualities. Nirvikaram, without change. The same form of Vishnu, perpetually. Satamatram, the original substance, the cause of everything. Nirvishesham, you are present everywhere as the Supersoul within the heart of a human being and within the heart of an animal. The same substance is present. Niriham, without material desires. Sa, that Supreme Person. Tvam, your Lordship. Sakshad, directly. Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, Adhyatma Deepaha, the light for all transcendental knowledge. Knowing you, one knows everything. Yasmin vigyate sarvam evang vigyatang bhavati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sri Devaki said, "My dear Lord, there are different Vedas, some of which describe you as unperceivable through words and the mind. Yet you are the origin of the entire cosmic manifestation. You are Brahman, the greatest of everything, full of effulgence like the sun. You have no material cause. You are free from change and deviation. You have no material desires. Thus the Vedas say that you are the substance. Therefore, my Lord, you are directly the origin of all Vedic statements. And by understanding you, one gradually understands everything. You are different from the light of Brahman and Paramatma, yet you are not different from them. Everything emanates from you. Indeed, you are the cause of all causes, Lord Vishnu, the light of all transcendental knowledge." Vasudeva finished glorifying Krishna, Vishnu, and now Mother Devaki. Imagine the first words you say to your newborn child. This is the level of, they say Devaki is non-different than Krishna. She's a transcendental personality. Srila Prabhupada's purport, it's a little long, so let's pay attention. Vishnu is the origin of everything, and there is no difference between Lord Vishnu and Lord Krishna, because both of them are Vishnu Tattva. From the Rig Veda we understand, Om Tad Vishnu Paramang Padam. The original substance is the all-pervading Lord Vishnu, who is also Paramatma, and the effulgent Brahman. The living entities are also part and parcel of Vishnu, who has various energies, Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate Swabhavaki Jnana Balakriyacha. Vishnu, or Krishna, is therefore everything. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad-Gita, Ahang sarvasya prabhavo matak sarvang parvartate. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. Krishna, therefore, is the original cause of everything, sarva karana karanam. When Vishnu expands in his all-pervading aspect, we should understand him to be Nirakara, Nirvishesha, Brahmajyoti. Although everything emanates from Krishna, he is ultimately a person, Aham Adir Hidevanam. He is the origin of Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. And from them, many other demigods are manifest. Krishna therefore says in Bhagavad-Gita, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Brahman rests upon me. The Lord also says, Yep yanya devata bhakta yajante shradayan vitaha tepi mang he kaunteya yajantya vidi purvikam. Whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone, but it is offered without true understanding. There are many persons who worship different demigods, considering all of them to be separate gods, which in fact they are not. The fact is that every demigod and every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. Mamaivang so jiva loke jiva bhuta. The demigods are also in the category of living entities. They are not separate gods, but men whose knowledge is immature and contaminated by the modes of material nature worship various demigods according to their intelligence. Therefore they are rebuked in Bhagavad-Gita. Kamaistai star hita jnana prapadyantenya devata. because they are unintelligent, not very advanced, and have not properly considered the truth, they take to the worship of various demigods or speculate according to various philosophies, such as the Mayavad philosophy. Krishna, Vishnu, is the actual origin of everything, as stated in the Vedas. Yasya Bhasha Sarvam Idang Vibhati. The absolute truth is described later in the Srimad Bhagavatam as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Yad Brahma Jyoti Sanatanam. The Brahma Jyoti is Sanatana, eternal, yet it is dependent on Krishna. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. The Brahma Samhita states that the Lord is all-pervading. Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastam. He is within this universe, and He is within the atom as Paramatma. Yasya prabha prabhavito jagananda koti koti svashesha visazadi vibhuti binam. Brahman is also not independent of Him. Therefore, whatever a philosopher may describe is ultimately Krishna or Lord Vishnu. Sarvam kalvidang brahma. Parang brahma, parang dhamma, pavitrang paramam bhavan. Brahman is also not independent of Him. Therefore, whatever a philosopher may describe is ultimately Krishna or Lord Vishnu. Sarvam kalvedang brahma, parang brahma, parang dhamma, pavitrang paramam bhavan. According to different phases of understanding, Lord Vishnu is differently described, but in fact, He is the origin of everything. Because Devaki was an unalloyed devotee, she could understand that the same Lord Vishnu had appeared as her son. Therefore, after the prayers of Vasudeva, Devaki offered her prayers. She was very frightened because of her brother's atrocities. Devaki said, "My dear Lord, your eternal forms like Narayan, Lord Rama, Shesha, Varaha, Nrsimha, Vamana, Baladeva, and millions of similar incarnations emanating from Vishnu are described in the Vedic literature as original. You are original because all your forms are incarnations, are outside of this material creation. Your form was existing before this cosmic manifestation was created. Your forms are eternal and all-pervading. They are self-effulgent, changeless, and uncontaminated by the material qualities. Such eternal forms are ever cognizant and full of bliss. They are situated in transcendental goodness, are always engaged in different pastimes. You are not limited to the particular form only. All such transcendental, eternal forms are self-sufficient." Shri Shri Gauranitai Krishna Balaram Lalita Vishaka Radhe Sham. I can understand that you are the Supreme Lord Vishnu. We may conclude, therefore, that Lord Vishnu is everything, although He is also different from everything. This is the Achintya Beda Beda Tattva philosophy. Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurimitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistang Stapitang Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, any questions? No, it was that long question. Srila Prabhupada is amazing, giving such an elaborate explanation. It always amazes me that when all the beautiful prayers from the demigods, Vasudeva, Devaki, they are very philosophical in nature, not just some sentiment or emotion, because naturally family, newborn child, but Krishna wanted to prove don't fear. He's very concerned about his devotees. He's very concerned to take care of them, although to our mundane, uneducated eye it may appear as though sometimes Krishna allows many things to take place and we cannot adjust mentally, why is that taking place? That's such a nice person. Why is he suffering? Why such a bad thing is happening to good people? Because we have limited vision, limited understanding. The workings of material nature are very, very intricate. And what to speak of the hundreds, thousands, millions, and billions of lifetimes of activities of us trying to make it work in this material world. We're adjusting everything according to our desires, and then based upon our sensual desires, our mind and intelligence lead us into the forest of material enjoyment, and that forest ultimately we're forced to get another womb, being put in another womb and create many different forms of life. But the human form of life is very, very rare. And if we utilize the human form of life properly, with guidance, we can awaken our love for Krishna. Just like here's describing that Krishna's created everything, he's the source of everything, he's the source of all the demigods. And even though people may do various sacrifices, worshiping different gods for different achievements, strength, power, wealth, opulence, and even there are those who study all day long, many scriptures. By our mental capacity, it's very difficult, even after a long time, for one to go through the yoga ladder and understand or come to the level of bhakti is not easy at all. And only after you worship the demigods, they'll give you some benediction. But Krishna is saying in Krishna book about Uddhava, who's a pure devotee, that a pure devotee, one who's actually on the level of the Supreme Person, can give benedictions. He can give special mercy. So Srila Prabhupada exhibited that mystic potency. He exhibited the potency of giving the highest truth and the highest path of understanding even to those of us who may not deserve. Because, we're all born in this material world, born in Kali Yuga. Many of us are born in Malecha families or families of cow killers and what they say, even dog eaters. So we're not brahmanas or highly qualified. Just like when Uddhava was sent by Krishna to pacify, we'll see here that Krishna has his pastimes. He goes to Yashoda and Nanda, and then Krishna and Balaram are performing all their childhood pastimes and activities, giving pleasure to Mother Yashoda, giving pleasure to all the cowherd boys, the gopis. And what to speak of that, Krishna, as he comes of age, we hear about the Rasa Leela and the activities of how everyone is mesmerized by Krishna, by his beauty, and they're completely meditating on him. And even though Krishna is killing one demon after another demon and coming out of difficult situations repeatedly, still Mother Yashoda, all the gopas and the elderly gopis, they're all praying and giving mantras to purify Krishna. Let's do a yajna, sacrifice, so that Krishna is protected. And so Krishna has a mystical covering, potency for the Leela that Nanda and Yashoda, also Vasudeva and Devaki, the cowherd boys, the gopis, that everyone is infatuated and fully in love with Krishna. And Krishna came for that purpose, to show the beauty of Vrindavan, to show what is the process of devotional service. There are many ways that people engage in religious activities, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. They perform religious activities, dharma, artha. What is the purpose of religious activities? So the gods will bless us. So we can have opulence, good health, good wealth. Everyone is happy. Dharma, artha, kama, sense gratification. If you have wealth, you can gratify yourself and drive around with that nice convertible on a nice sunny day, enjoying life. So supposedly, like people envision going to heaven in the Nanda gardens and being surrounded by beautiful people and enjoying life. And then liberation, because they see that although I perform my religious activities, I perform my sacrifice, I had an opulent position. Look at Parikshit Maharaj. He had so much opulence, the whole kingdom, beautiful wife, youth, vitality, strength, reputation, beautiful family. But the notice came, within 7 days, you are going to die. So this is a wake-up call. We're having regular wake-up calls that at any moment we can die. Death is standing, waiting, right around the corner. And we should take it more seriously because life is very short, very temporal. So all the endeavors and the so-called scientific advancement and all the so-called ways of being happy in this material world are simply will-o'-the-wisp or an illusion, something that does not exist. We don't know of anyone who is deathless, although we hear like Vyasadeva is still, and there are many munis who can live for long period. But still, the devastation will come, and it's all wound up back into the Lord again, and then again manifested for another day of trying to enjoy with ultimate frustration. That's all the material world. It's a very miserable, frustrating place. So the miseries are meant to wake us up to the reality of spiritual life, that we need to stop wasting time in material pursuits. Like in the desert, we're very thirsty. Material pleasures are just like one little drop, and there you're so thirsty, totally dehydrated. The sun is beating down. There's hot sand everywhere. Let me give you a drop and see how satisfied you are. No satisfaction there. It's actually irritating, insulting. So we don't want this so-called happiness because it's flickering, it's temporary. So Mother Devaki, she's glorifying Krishna, that you are the source of everything, the original. You manifest yourself. From you comes this manifestation. Not only that, you enter it as Paramatma. You're in the heart of every living being. You're there, but you're not there. So philosophically, with a mundane mind, we cannot understand some of the irregularities in the philosophy. It may seem like, how do we adjust all this philosophy? But it's very important that we understand how great Krishna is, how wonderful He is, and how loving He is. So I was talking about how Krishna ultimately, when Kamsa was told by Narada Muni that Krishna was actually born to Vasudeva and Devaki, but Vasudeva tricked you and he brought Krishna to Gokul, and now Nanda and Yashoda are his foster parents, and he's there with Balaram. They're actually both the sons of Vasudeva. And so Kamsa became crazy, became mad. He started sending all the different demons, Putana and Trinavarta, Agasura, this sura, that sura. So many asuras came to kill Krishna. Still, Kamsa didn't get it because all these very powerful mystic yogi demons are being killed by Krishna and Balaram in a playful way. So Kamsa said, Akrura, you go bring Krishna. And I have my Kala Yapida elephant. He'll smash him when he comes. And then we have my Mushtaka, Chanura, all these great, powerful wrestlers. They're like mountains. They're solid rock, like many of our devotees, well built and solid. So these wrestlers were very powerful. This is the last chance. Kamsa was feeling that I need to take care of this situation because he's full of anxiety, full of fear. And this is what the material life is, full of anxiety, full of fear. I know we've discussed this worldwide pandemic virus, but people are fearful. They're afraid. What's going to happen? I lost my job. I'm losing loved ones. What to speak if this virus takes my life? Now, how many people are died in America? It's over 320,000, and millions have been infected. And some say, oh, it's nothing, only a few light symptoms like a cold, and we're back again. Life is good. But old age, disease, and death will come. So Kamsa was very fearful. So when Akrura came and told Krishna and Balaram, he was received very wonderfully, that King Kamsa is inviting you and all the leaders of the Vrindavan to come into this special wrestling festival we have. But the gopis were not happy. The various inhabitants in Vrindavan were not happy at all, because they were feeling that Akrura means one who's not cruel. But they thought, Akrura, you're so cruel, you're taking our Krishna away. The gopis wouldn't even they would stand in front of the chariot. Krishna had to convince them, no, I have to go take care of some business. I'll be back soon. So, despite the fact of that, when the chariot went away, they just stood like statues until they could not see the chariot anymore, until the smoke from the dust of the chariot was gone. So they were totally bewildered. But there was a point when Krishna, out of love and affection, he sent Uddhava, his cousin, very intimate associate of the Lord. He gave a letter that you bring this to the inhabitants of Vrindavan to pacify them. So when Uddhava arrived in his chariot, Nanda Yashoda, and they gave wonderful welcome, treated him beautifully. When the gopis saw the chariot, they thought, oh no, Akrura again, he's coming again to cause havoc. But they were very curious. So when Uddhava observed the love that the inhabitants of Vrindavan had for Krishna, how they were thinking of him, how they were feeling separation from Krishna and thinking of his pastimes, remembering him, discussing with each other about his, and then all day long, whatever they're doing, they're remembering Krishna. So Uddhava, when he was amongst the gopis, even Srimati Radharani saw a bumblebee and thought, this is another messenger of Krishna, but I can't trust this messenger or Krishna because he's very cunning. He mesmerizes everyone's minds and then leaves. And she was saying like that because even Uddhava was a messenger, so in one sense chastising both the messenger and Krishna. And when the bumblebee went away, she got so panicky, thinking, oh no, he's going to tell Krishna I'm criticizing. But then when the bumblebee came back, she goes, okay, well, Krishna is such a nice, and trying to make up in so many ways. So these are loving exchanges. We can't imitate them, nor can we fully appreciate. But Uddhava was so mesmerized by their love and devotion that he thought, I can't even ask the gopis for the dust of their feet in this lifetime. He was praying that I take birth in a future life as a clump of grass, because when the gopis are running here and there, serving Krishna, thinking of Krishna, singing his glories, they may stomp on me and I get their dust. So it may seem that, oh, that's so too sensational or overly exaggerated. But the love of the gopis means that they were constantly remembering Krishna. And in the letter, Krishna says, I'm never without you. I'm always with you. Don't worry. So that feeling, vipralamba, of separation from Krishna, right now we're feeling separated, but Krishna's appearing before us in a beautiful Gaurnitai, Krishna Balaram, Radhashama Sundalita Vishaka. Vrindavan Leela is right here. Practically every other temple in the world is shut down, but Krishna is fully manifest here in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So all of you, all of us are very fortunate that we get to see and sing before Krishna Balaram and remember their pastimes, and by our activities try to serve them. When Krishna came to Mathura, then different people were making different offerings. Of course, the washerman was a little foolish when Krishna Balaram asked for some nice clothes. He said, "Oh, this belongs to the king. How dare you? You'll be heavily punished." So Krishna, with his hand, exhibited his potency and showed him who was boss. Krishna's the boss. But even the pastime of Kubja, she gave such nice sandalwood paste, and she was making every day for Kamsa. But she said, "Oh, Krishna and Balaram, you're the most beautiful, you're the most deserving." So Krishna, he fulfills the desires of all his devotees in such a unique way that, again, we may not fully understand, but maybe all of us have had desire to somehow or other stop this repetition of birth and death. Maybe not, but we got some Agyata Sukriti from Srila Prabhupada, because the devotee, the pure devotee, is surcharged with the potency. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. Krishna has unlimited potencies, and his potency is manifest through the Shaktivesh avatar of a pure devotee, because they're actually empowered to give Krishna, to also bring everyone back to their proper state of mind, cleansing the mind, cleansing the heart. So just by service, by your service, Kubja offered, this was her service, she offered to Krishna, and Krishna was fully satisfied. So in Bhagavad-Gita there's descriptions of how to act, that if you're working, even in the beginning, Srila Prabhupada, he told Brahmananda, don't quit your job, continue. Satsvarup Maharaj also, they was continuing his work. And when you're working, sometimes we're fearful, I'll be in the material world or associating with others. Even Sankirtan devotees, we used to be fearful, how can I go out on the street, in the airport, the train station? So many materialistic people are there, engaged in all kinds of illicit activities. But Krishna gives a special protection, that you're working in the feeling, in the mood that the result of my work will go to Krishna's pleasure, to serve his mission. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, just like Rupa Goswami, he gave the results of his work for the spreading Krishna consciousness. Of course, responsibly taking care of our duties as well. So, although we're fanatical for Krishna, we still have to use our intelligence how to keep the family and society somewhat pacified, because we saw a few verses ago how in Bombay we're trying to establish the temple, but they thought that this chanting was a big nuisance, and these Hare Krishnas are causing so much trouble that let's stop them. And also some places, I remember there's trouble in Russia, and there's trouble in all parts of the world, America, even in India. They give us sometimes, without understanding the political, demonic persons who are against the law of God, persons who think that they are supreme and that their order is final, they want to minimize and put out God consciousness. But Krishna cannot be stomped out by some resolution or by some crooked-minded political endeavor. It cannot happen. But there are times of difficulty, just like Akrura was sent with Krishna to go to Dwarka to find out how are the family members doing, how is the sons of Pandu, the Pandavas, and Queen Kunti, my aunt, how is everything going there? So when Akrura came to Hastinapur, he saw so many elephants, gold, opulence, so much wealth, and Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, and all the rulers, the emperors of the whole world, they actually took the kingdom of Pandu. Although Pandu passed away, rightfully and traditionally it goes to the sons of Pandu. But they were very envious of the Pandavas. And instead of taking good advice from grandfather Bhishma and Vidura, Dhritarashtra, although he was materially blind, was also spiritually blind because he was influenced by Duryodhana, Shukuni, Karna. So many of the followers of Duryodhana, they had the ill intent of enjoying the kingdom and killing the Pandavas. So you see the intrigue, and I know we often speak about the difficulties. Mother Kunti felt like she was surrounded by tigers waiting to devour her and her sons, unprotected. So we'll see it takes some time, because then they're banished to the forest for some time, and so many difficulties, troubles and tribulations. And if we read the teachings of Queen Kunti, we'll see how Queen Kunti, with a feeling of love and surrender, was saying, Krishna, don't think that now we're safe, we're always in danger. So there's always danger surrounding us. So naturally we want to have Krishna protecting us. When you're in a difficult situation, you want a protector, someone who will save you. Please save me. If you're suffering and struggling, you pray to God, especially if you have some incurable disease and or at a time of great danger, your life is at risk. Even atheists, they become a little bit, they come to their senses. When Kamsa understood, after Yoga Maya flew out of his hands and said, "You rascal, why are you troubling Vasudeva and Devaki?" "Oh, no, I'm sorry." And it became very humble and meek. But then again, he associated with his demonic friends. So bad association is the cause. We just don't blame it on others, because we choose to associate with who we associate with. So we should be very careful that we're keeping this society, this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, was created by Krishna, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Goswamis, by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, sending Srila Prabhupada, because this is all foretold in the scripture that next 10,000 years there'll be the golden age of devotees from all nations chanting together, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is protection. This is our kavacha, our shield of protection. Many mantras are there for purification and protection, but the Maha Mantra is the supermost. In this age, we are slow in spiritual understanding. Great philosophy we cannot understand. Although Srila Prabhupada recommends, this book and that book has more intimate details of Krishna's loving affairs, you can read this book and that book. But he often said, if you just read my books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad-Gita, Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, Krishna book, these books are so empowered that by hearing the present Acharya, the representative of Krishna and the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, fulfilling the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the proof is there that so many have been turned from a demonic lifestyle to a godly lifestyle. So there's no real need to go here, there, and everywhere, because every page is so full of so much nectar. Brahma, he studied the Vedas 3 times thoroughly before he even got things going in the universe. So we should read Srimad Bhagavatam 3 times thoroughly, Chaitanya Charitamrita, very, very in a focused way. Bhagavad-Gita, it's ever fresh. What literature is there in the world that's as philosophical and straightforward as God Himself speaking? And people of all kinds of religions are reading Bhagavad-Gita and appreciating how one can purify his existence and come to the highest perfection of yoga. Perfect their human form of life simply by this process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Hearing, chanting, and remembering Vishnu. Hare Krishna. So there's a few minutes left if there's 1 or 2 questions. Hare Krishna. Comments, corrections from the seniors? Huh? Sure, nothing? Maharaj? You can save me for a minute or two? It's on. It's on? He's getting there. No, he'll turn it on.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Jai Jai.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Here in this particular verse, many words Mother Devi using appears like usually the Mayavadi impersonalist. Very much fond of this type of words.
Many words that she's using are like
Jyotir, light, energy, nirguna, without any quality,
yeah.
and nirvikaram, no change, and many things like Sattva-matram, Nirvishram, Niriham, everything. Usually the Mayavadi philosophers are impersonalist. And here Mother Devi talking about that, but everything impersonal creature, but the basis of Brahmano in Pratishtha, Krishna, Vishnu, here she used the word Vishnu, Vishnu Adhyatma. Vishnu is the basis of all impersonal manifestation or non-manifestation. So it appears that she is very knowledgeable personality. She knows the actual position of Krishna, all powerful. He can still, when we go further verses, she is really scared and fearful. And now she requested, my dear Lord, please hide this far roof. Otherwise, as soon as concern will come to know that you have appeared from my room, immediately next moment he will attack and he will kill you. So I am very much concerned. She talking. I am very much concerned about safety. So please hide your roof. Don't be, at least not in this part. If you appear like Vishnu, so effulgent, form, glorious, it will be very difficult for us to hide you. We want to give you another place in hiding. So, of course, you have already explained about this. One point, it seems that very knowledgeable, they are very confident about the power of Krishna. And same time, simultaneously feeling very much fear, helplessness, I am very poor, save me, I am so much concerned even with ulcer. And again, he will kill you, and that will be future distress for me. I am suffering, I have already suffered, suffering, and in future I will suffer. So please, hide this fact.
Yes.
And one point she also requested that people will not believe if I will tell in future that Krishna, the Vishnu, took birth from me. Then they will blame. They say, no, you are lying. How come Vishnu? How can Vishnu can come in your room? So in future, if people will know that Vishnu has taken birth from my, if I will tell that Vishnu has taken birth from my womb, then simply people will laugh on me and say, I said, she lying. She said, bluffing herself, boasting herself that. So, and these prayers of Vasudeva, first Vasudeva, similar fashion, and Mother Devi also. Sukadeva Goswami does not give any justification. So this is like, I'm talking about the word, she gives a usage, Abhyaktam, Adyam, and especially Brahma, all pervading, Jyoti, light. Usually the yogi, they meditate on the light because God is formless, there is no quality. It seems that in this particular verse, at least many words are used to describe the impersonal feature of Krishna.
Yes. It's a good observation, Maharaj. She pointed out that Mother Devaki is using these words, that how grand Krishna is, Brahma Jyoti, that the impersonalistic aspect of it. And even though she was glorifying Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God, it's still, she was fearful that Kamsa will come. So again, she went back to her motherly affection and feeling nervous. And then people will talk badly, thinking that, I'm boasting that the Supreme Lord took birth. And Maharaj, he explained everything very nicely. So this is the potency of Krishna, that his pure devotees can describe in detail his magnanimity, his greatness, his all-pervasiveness, but ultimately he's a person. So she please, you just become an ordinary child, which is his original form, his two-handed form. Krishna has his two-handed form. So this is Yoga Maya. She's also helping Krishna perform his Leela. So Vasudeva glorified beautifully in a very philosophical and erudite way. Mother Devaki also is glorifying. There'll be some more glorification coming. But ultimately, they think, my little child, I need to protect you. Let's put you, out of here, out of danger from Kamsa. So these are the upcoming verses. We'll get more. Maybe Maharaj can, next day or so, you can give a further elaboration. And very nice, Maharaj. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.